Hey everyone, welcome to another Legacy League. For today's league, we have a challenge winning list from friend MTG. It's a Mono-Red Eldrazi list, utilizing Eldrazi Linebreaker as our main combat engine. We have our usual all-stars Fleshraker as well as Thought-Knot Seer, one copy of Ugin to close out any long draggy games, Devour of Destiny to keep our opening hands a bit more keepable, Chalice to make sure everyone's being held in check, and yeah, a playset of Wastecape Battle Mage in the main is interesting. We'll see how often we'll get to use both kick modes to answer various matchups. For the sideboard, it's pretty straightforward. We have 3 dismembers for any creature removal, Graph Digger's Cage to answer any graveyard shenanigans, playset of Flutes to answer combo, Nowrot as well for our artifact matchup, 2 Hearses also going in for our graveyard matchups, and a singleton copy of Ugin just to round things out. See you in round 1. Okay, on the draw against Swella. Opening hand, we see Ancient Tomb, a pair of Ancient Tombs, a Lotus Petal, Chalice. Yeah, this is very serviceable, we'll keep. A Urza Saga from the opponent. We draw Ugin, nothing too exciting. Here, let's play our Ancient Tomb, our Petal. I guess the interesting question now is, do we play Chalice on 1 or 0? I'm gonna go with Chalice on 1. So let's see. We have nothing in the main that gets affected by Chalice on 1. So yep, they play a Chrome Mox. So imprinting a Simian Spirit Guide. So this is some sort of red Stompy strategy. Maybe Painter. They play a Shadow Skull untapped. So definitely more towards the prison side of things. Be looking forward to using the Thought-Knot. Chalice, a second Chalice would be nice. We'll get to shut off all their pesky 0 drops. But let's start with Thought-Knot first. They exile a Simian Spirit Guide. That's interesting. That's the only hit they have. They have a pair of Ancient Tombs. That's fine. We'll play out our Chalice for 0 and pass the turn. At our end step, they make a construct. On their turn, seems to be another construct. Okay, so there's going to be a 4/4 that quite handily answers our Thought-Knot. And they tutor up a Lava Spell Boots. Okay, the Ancient Tomb will allow them to equip the Boots, which is a pretty hefty combination of cards. Here, I'm quite alright giving them the trade. So let's do that. We will just trade with the 5/4. We'll take 4. Unfortunately, they get to draw a card. Not the best, but okay, Linebreaker is interesting, but we don't have enough Eldrazi at the moment. Kozilek's Command gets us an answer as well as a little bit of a mana boost. So let's do some math. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4x equals to 2. We get 2 friends. The 2 friends plus the Lotus Petal gets us an Eldrazi Linebreaker, but it'll just be a vanilla 3/3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can just keep things for Ugin, although Ugin might not be as useful since you're facing down a construct. Curious. Over here, I'm going to pass the turn. I want to actually see what they have in store for us before I cast the Kozilek's Command. I can always remove the construct in response to the boot, which they didn't do. Okay, strange, but alright. Here, they swing, cast our Kozilek's Command, we'll exile the second main phase, casting a Pyrogoyf. It's good for 5 damage, yikes, okay. So, it's gonna be quite a bit of a headache. We're at 1, Okay, how do we worm our way out of this? Eldrazi Temple for the draw. We can't tap our tombs, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. Do we have a way to answer that? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, unfortunately not. Wow. That was a rough game. Over here, we're bringing in our Dismembers. Chalices can pretty much all go. Here, Flutes aren't too bad actually. So let's consider that. probably don't need the full play set. Let's see. Bit of an unlucky set of draws there. Frankly speaking, quite okay here. Yeah, honestly, this is it. Yeah, let's give that a go. On the play, game 2, we have a Cavern, Wasteland, Petal, as well as a Devourer to start. Let's see. How can we best capitalize? We can, if we hit a Soul Land, we can have a turn 1 Linebreaker. Yeah, let's give this hand a try. Yeah, Grim Monolith isn't too bad also. We'll want to be having a source of colorless mana. Okay, we'll play out the effect. Okay, then our upkeep, our trigger. We will grab our Eldrazi Temple. That's a great start. Here we'll play out our Cavern, naming Eldrazi, as well as a Lotus Petal. So next turn we always have Eldrazi Linebreaker up. They open with a Chrome Mox, pitching a Cement Spirit Guide, as well as an Ancient Tomb, and that's a Magus of the Moon. Yikes, okay. It's a little bit more dicey now. We're gonna need our draw after this temple to be able to give us dividends. Pass the turn playing a Wasteland first. You play a Mountain, casting a Sundering Eruption. Wow, okay. Ironically, that unlocks our wastes, so that's a good sign. We take 2. Perfectly serviceable amount. A Wastecape Battle Mage here does not enough yet. I think what's more relevant is that we can cast our Linebreaker relatively trivially. So we can do that. We'll have the Linebreaker target itself, swing in for 4, and now we have a semblance of stability against the opponent. Play a Saga, but there's also a Mountain. A 4 mana, play 1 ring, that's fine. We have the Wastecape Battle Mage to answer that. We have our green tucked away. That's still pretty neat. Swing in, we'll take our tool. Grim Monolith is great. This gives us plenty of ways to jump up on mana. Here we can just play out a land. We will deploy out our Wastecape Battle Mage with a green kicker. Battle, yep. And then we will place on the stack. We'll exile the ring, as well as cast a Grim Monolith. This way we can always turbo out our next play. Linebreaker, honestly, is just going to stay at home since they have protection, and we'll pass the turn. And they scoop it up. Back to the sideboard here. I might be interested in bringing in a couple more flutes. Is that really necessary? I guess the Wastecape Battle Mage tends to answer the rings quite well. So no, let's just send it. On the draw here, we have a pretty good opening. We have a Devourer to dig us into a Dismember if we need to. I think I'll keep. I'll review the Devourer of Destiny. Opponent plays a Urza Saga, as well as a Chrome Mox. Imprinting a Shatter Skull Smashing, alright. Pitching a Cement Spirit Guide. So that's a Fable coming out, that's fine. We can still relatively easily deal with that. On our upkeep, we have the Devourer trigger. Let's see, we have a Grim Monolith as a way to jump ahead on mana. I don't dislike that actually. Here the Goblin Shaman means that our Wastelands aren't that effective. Let's see. Yeah, I think I would like the Grim Monolith. We'll draw that for turn. Play out the Ancient Tomb and cast the Grim Monolith. For now, I think we can still hang back. So here, let's see if our opponent pitches any cards out. They do not. They just play a Mountain as well as a Magus of the Moon. The Magus is not much of an issue, so we'll let that slide. The Grim Monolith here will do plenty of work for us. We'll just take the 2 from the Shaman. Lotus Petal is great. Here, let's see. Our Fleshraker will always play out the Temple. Here we can use one of the colorless pips to cast out our Fleshraker, which should allow us to turbo into at least a Wastecape to answer the Fable, can answer the Saga, as well as probably cast a Flute out. So yeah, actually pretty good draws so far. Here we'll use the red mana, cast our Fleshraker, cast our petals, create spawns. So the spawns are now our best resource. A Wastecape Battle Mage. If we exile their Saga, they can't create and then we get another dog out. Yeah, let's do that. Let's double check. Yes, we can. So let's do with, can we do it blue? 1, 2, 3, 4. We can bounce the Magus. But honestly, we don't need to bounce the Magus, so let's just get rid of their Saga. This way they don't have a Saga creating machine as well. We have our spawns. So the spawns will allow us to flute if there's any major headaches. We are good to go. We'll pass the turn for now. Let's see what they have for us. We can always flute the Fable if anything gets too dicey. See the opponent tapping mana, casting a broadside. Here I do want to flute the broadside. We'll name the broadside Bombardiers. Yeah, so this way we still keep the broadside in check. Frankly quite okay taking 2 from the broadside. Let's see. Do I want to take the 2? I will actually... yeah, I want to actually block the Shaman instead. This way we can restrict their mana production. So unfortunately we don't have enough mana yet, but let's see. How can we worm ourselves out of this situation? They have 1 card in hand. Our Devourer is sleepy. If we cast our Wastegate this turn, we can potentially get our Thought Knot out. Is it good enough? I really want to use it on the Reflection of Kiki-Jiki though. So that's a bit of annoyance. Let's see. Here we will do 1, 2, 3 mana. I think for now I'll still hold on. Unfortunately, we'll have to hang back for a bit. Yeah, we'll just hang back. Pass turn. Honestly, another land is fine. They'll use the Kiki-Jiki, the reflection to copy their broadside. Just swinging for 4, which is a pretty big chunk of damage. We will hang back for now. They have Lava Spur Boots. It's okay. The token goes. Any mana source off the top gets us material. That's great. So here we can untap the Monolith. We can untap the Monolith. Let's see. And untap the Monolith. We can cast our Wastegate Battle Mage. We'll get 1 back. It's not enough. So here I think we are still forced to take the 4 damage from them for now. Let's see. Yeah. Just pass the turn. Quite a pity that we still can't develop. Thankfully, not too much pressure just yet. They evoke a Fury. Yikes. Okay. Targeting both our Fleshraker and our spawn. Sack the spawn and untap the Grim Monolith. Frankly, our best way out. 6. Oh, yikes. Okay. Them copying the Fury, as long as they don't forget to equip their boots when in danger, that's not good news. Let's see if they misplay. Nope. Okay. Full send gets the job done. Bit of a pity, unfortunately. And that's GG's. Off to round 2. Devourers. Not entirely sure what to think of this hand, honestly. Let's see. For Signs of Key, on their turn they play Bloodstained Mire. Pass the turn. The first set gets us a Ancient Tomb or Kozilek's Command. I think I'll take the Tomb. And the other one, we'll show us the Tomb again. Let's see. Yeah, we'll just keep the Tomb again. We'll play out the Tomb, cast a Chalice on 1, and hope this is good enough. I don't know why, but the Bloodstained Mire gives me Storm vibes, but we'll see. Okay, Underground Sea from the opponent into a Brainstorm. Okay, the opponent pitches a Brainstorm, forcing our Chalice. So I guess there's a 2 for 2 exchange. They have a Wasteland for our Ancient Tomb. That's fine. Draw another Chalice. Here, let's see. We can start with a Secluded Courtyard. Let's see. Let's start the Eye of Ugin. Any soul land off the top gets us our Fleshraker as well as the Chalice. Have to pass for now. On our end step, they are casting yet another Brainstorm. Curious to see what the opponent is playing, given their lack of development. Yet another Wasteland. Wow, okay. That's gonna be quite a headache, as well as a Nethergoyf. So this is a UB tempo strategy. We secure our first basic, so that's nice. We'll play out the wastes, pass the turn. We play out a Scalding Tarn. So I swing in for 2. We'll go down to 16. Yet another chalice for the draw. Not ideal. Here we'll play out the secluded courtyard, naming Eldrazi, and play out a chalice on 1. Beggars can't be choosers here. The chalice resolves, so hopefully that's a sign that we stem a bit of bleeding. On their turn, they play a swamp, swing in for 2, and we draw a Linebreaker. Unfortunately, no good plays. They swing in again, we're down to 12. A Wastegate off the top does give us a semblance of stability, so let's do that. Bit disappointing, but we'll take what we can get. End step, they cast a Petty Theft on our chalice, as well as a Wasteland from them. Pretty sure this is a GG just because we've been Wastelanded 3 times. Tameo is gonna make things a lot harder. Swing in for 2, we will not block. For now, we draw Eldrazi Temple. Here, we will not swing first. We'll play out our land, cast our Glaring Fleshraker. It resolves. Okay. Here, let's see. We can, if we cast a chalice on 0, that does turn off our colored mana. I think for now we can wait. The opponent is fetching on our end step, fetching it under City Sewers, and they surveil out a Polluted Delta. A Fatal Push on the Fleshraker is disappointing. Here the beats don't stop. For now we'll still take. Any mana source gets us at least another creature. You draw a Clue, play a Nihil Spellbomb that doesn't really affect us. Second Eldrazi Temple does help us quite a fair bit. 4-5 mana here. Let's start at the top, not a seer. See what we can grab. We can grab either the Daze or spare Tameo. We'll take the, let's see. We'll actually take the Daze here. I do want to be able to cast the Devourer on a later turn. We'll just hang back to block. They pop the Nihil Spellbomb, targeting us, netting a card in the process. They'll go to combat. Only Tameo swings as expected. Okay, Clue. Will not block. Here we just need to hit our colored sources and we'll be quite alright. They draw from the Clue. A lot of card draw from them. The Tameo flips. Annoying, but manageable for now. The Tameo comes out yet again. Ugin is pretty decent here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. Let's go for that. All of these cards will tap. We'll exile their, let's see. We can exile their Tameo, so that's one way to deal with a problem. Fortunately, the backup Tameo means that it's not really that great. They did draw a Daze, but we're fine with that. We can always go again next turn, and we already got our cast trigger. Here, we can still hang back. Surprisingly, still quite a close game. They swing with the Tameo as expected. In the second main, they cast a Brainstorm, trying to flip the Tameo yet again. That's fine. Here, Cavern off the top would be nice. Cavern or a Soul Land would be nice. A Thoughtseize does make our Devourer pretty bad, so I guess that's one card out of the way. So here, colored source, most important. Yet another Goy from them. So it's an Underground Sea. Second Linebreaker is not what we're looking for. So for now, let's just try to deploy out our chalice. We are forced to hang back, unfortunately. We are losing the race. Tameo upticks to combat. They swing out 1 Nethergoyf. It's fine. Here I'm pretty okay throwing the Wastegate out as a blocker. All we really need to do is hit our colored source. Oh, okay, colored source is good enough. Here we can do this and cast our Lotus Petal. Opponent is deep in the tank. Not particularly sure what they're up to. Okay, our Petal resolves. We'll cast our Linebreaker. The Linebreaker resolves. I'm going to try to cast yet another chalice just to make sure that we're safe. Though I doubt this is going to get countered. So that's fine. We'll pump the Linebreaker, the 5-3. Let's see. But we are not able to attack just yet. We'll pass the turn. On our end step, they play a Petty Theft. Wow, they have plenty of stuff. So let's draw from a Clue. It's pretty hopeless, I have to say. We'll block. Because they swing with both, that's lethal. Unfortunately, that means that they get to draw a card. We're at 4. It's pretty hopeless. I'm okay to concede after I take the draw here. Yeah, we draw a waste. That's not enough. We'll concede. Okay, off to the sideboards. Here, we're definitely bringing some number of flutes. Even the hearse is actually pretty interesting, I have to say. The dismembers are sure in. This is not a matchup for Wastecape Battle Mage, so we can cut that. I'm okay trimming one copy of Devourer as well. So that's 5 cards. We can bring in 2 flutes. We can bring in a flute and a hearse. I think this is a good amount of material in. Let's see. On the play, I do like the chalices. Yep. Yeah, this seems fine. Yep. We'll run it like this. We will be on the play. Here we have a pretty decent 7 chalice to open things up. We have to take 2, but that's fine. Let's do a force check. They force pitching another force. That's okay. They play Underground Sea into another Goyf. Ancient Tomb does mean that we can just develop our Thought-Knot Seer. But here I think I would like to be, let's see, do I want to invest in the cavern or just push out the tomb? I think let's push out the tomb first and cast the Thought-Knot Seer. It resolves. Take a peek. We see a push, a second copy of Goyf, and a Force of Will, and a Wasteland. So that's a lot of material on their end. We'll take the push, then we'll pass the turn. Cast a Brainstorm. So off the top, invalidates most of the information we have for now. The Wasteland, as expected, is coming out. Okay, the another guy stays at home, which is great for us. A Linebreaker is pretty neat. Cavern on Eldrazi gets us there. And we get a uncounterable Linebreaker. So we do have the beats this time. We'll target the Linebreaker. I'll swing with all. That's 9 power. They take the 9, they're down to 10. Play Undercity Sewers, surveilling the Nether Goyf. Okay. So at this point, don't really know anything. A Tameo comes out and they pass the turn. Okay. Another copy of Thought-Knot Seer is great. Let's see. Let's do that. We'll play our wastes. Thought-Knot being uncounterable is absolutely perfect. Take a peek. You see a pair of Force of Wills. We'll take 1. Go to combat. Oh, and they scoop it up. Perfect. That is how we should be gaming. Here on the draw, we can side out 2 copies of Chalice. I want to bring in the flute as well as the hearse. Otherwise, we are good to go. Opening hand, we have a relatively slow start. Our hand lines up well, but doesn't get set up until we have turn 2. And we are soft to dazes, so fortunately I think we have to Mao. This does look like a slightly more promising 7. We have Cavern and Courtyard as well as Wastes. Here we can just pivot and try to turn off the Chalice, but I think that's a bit of an... No, we'll bottom the Courtyard and hope to draw our second colorless source. A Soul Land off the top would be great. Undercity Sewers from them, milling over Barrel Goyf. There's one headache off the way. A Monolith is pretty okay. Just play our waste, pass the turn. On their end, they play a Polluted Delta, casting a Goyf. We draw an Ancient Tomb. Okay, that's pretty good. An Ancient Tomb into Chalice is what I'm thinking about here. I think that would be a better choice for now. I do want to be able to try to push out some sort of stopping power against their Goyfs, Tameos and such. They fetch in response. I expect a Brainstorm, Consign. Yep, Brainstorm goes on the stack. They cast a Force, pitching a Brazen Borrower. Okay, that's not too bad of an exchange. Unfortunately, this means the Goyf is pretty big now. So we will take our 3. They fetch with the Delta, getting another Underground Sea, and they Ninjutsu in Kaito. Yikes. That's a bit of a headache now. They surveil 2 and draw a card. So here the Linebreaker is gonna have to pull extra heavy duty. We will play our Cavern, name Eldrazi. Red as well as 2 mana. And we'll go to combat. We'll swing in at Kaito, answering the Kaito. Then we'll pass the turn. All in all, not a bad exchange. They play out a basic island into the Nethergoyf, which is huge this time around. But Kozilek as well as a Barrelgoyf, okay. That's now a number of headaches we have to deal with. Let's see. Fleshraker off the top is pretty interesting. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 mana. We can jump our mana by 1 into 5. That gets us a Fleshraker as well as a Kozilek's command, which will stem the bleeding a little bit. So yeah, let's start with that. Fortunately, we have to start with the Grim Monolith, which is a sequence that I'm not super happy with. But now we can make our Eldrazi creatures uncounterable. So we'll pay with the Fleshraker first. And here we can cast the Kozilek's command for 0. We will just draw a card first. This way we get something. We still get material, seeing that we get cast trigger off of Glaring Fleshraker, which can block the Barrelgoyf. We draw Thought Knots here. That'll be something we can consider next turn. Here, unfortunately, our Linebreaker will just stay at home. Moving into combat, the Barrelgoyf and the Nethergoyf will swing in. We will block the Barrelgoyf with the Eldrazi spawn. Unfortunately, does mean that our life total takes a pretty big chunk. Yep, we will sacrifice the token. Make sure that no one gets the life back. I'm assuming that the opponent is thinking about whether to ninjutsu in a Kaito, which seems to be the case. So now we take 4, which is ironically slightly less. So that's fine. They do get to draw. The opponent is deep in the tank. Yep, here they draw the card after their Surveil. Surveil both Tamir and Brainstorm out. Okay. Push our Fleshraker, which is a bit of a bummer. Okay, Eldrazi Temple is a pretty good draw. So here we have 3 mana and then 3 mana. So this does allow us to be able to shrink the Barrelgoyf just a little bit. So let's start with the Fleshraker, and then we'll follow that up with making friends and exiling cards. Is that correct? Let's see. Make a friend. No, we'll scry and draw instead. Scry. Then let's get rid of one of the Kaitos. Here we always get the Fleshraker friend. Our Cavern off the top is not what we're looking for, so let's bottom. We draw Secluded Courtyard. It's not great, but alright. Okay, moving into combat, let's pump our Linebreaker, handily get rid of... damn! We misclicked, damn. Yikes. Here the Kaito's gonna take over the game. That's not good. The Wasteland is played from them. They cast Bitter Triumph, destroying our Eldrazi spawn. They Wasteland our Eldrazi Temple. Okay, interesting. And they stun our Linebreaker. So this way we are always forced to block with the Barrelgoyf. That's a headache. Let's see. In this case, let's block the Barrelgoyf because that's lethal. The misclick really punishes us. Another Goyf is fine. A Flute makes the Kaito too little too late. We'll play our Courtyard. Name Eldrazi. Let's see. Do we have outs here? Thought not. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. It's just the 1. Nope. We always lose, unfortunately. The misclick really punished us. GG's. Round 3 against Janky B with 1 the die roll. We'll play first. Here we have Cavern, Secluded Courtyard, Wastes. The Ugin is a bit of a dud. We can't really get set up until turn 2. Let's see. I think here we can afford to mulligan into something a bit more velocity. We do get that. We have what seems to be remarkably similar to our previous game. We'll keep, and then we'll bottom the Ugin. We will play out the Devourer of Destiny at the beginning of upkeep. Let's trigger. We see Linebreaker, Temple, Petal, Thought Knot. Here, I would like the Temple. Okay, let's open with Ancient Tomb into Chalice on 1. The opponent answers with Force Pitching a Daze. Pass the turn. It's yet another Underground Sea strategy. Okay, start with a Thoughtseize. Fully expect the Linebreaker to go. That's correct. So we see the Linebreaker go. Pass the turn, draw the Temple. We will still just deploy Out Not Seer. So let's have a look. It resolves. We see Delver, Doughty, Voidwalker, and Fatal Push. Curious. I'm not particularly sure what to make of this. Let's see if we take the push. Here, for now, I think I'll take the push. I think we can afford to hang back for a moment. We'll pass the turn. Let's see what the opponent has in store. Fully expect to see the Delver pop up. Okay, a Scowling Tarn, as well as the Delver. So, as expected, you get a nice, neat little Surveil action going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're still mana away. I will play out the Secluded Courtyard instead. Not particularly interested in getting wastelanded. Oh, push for damage. They shouldn't block, and then we'll pass the turn. On our end step, they do a fetch, which means it's probably a Surveil land. See the sewers. Keep it on. No, they mill over a Delta. Delver does not flip, which is perfect for us, and the Voidwalker is out. So 1 mystery card in hand. We'll take the 1 from the Delver. Kozilek's Command is a perfect card here. Play out the Cavern. I'm very much in the business of getting rid of the Doughty Voidwalker. So let's do that. Scry. Do the Voidwalker. 2 mana here and 2 mana here. We can hold up against these and still have a little bit more incidental value. Here, Eldrazi Temple, Thought Not Seer, Wasteland. Oh, and they scoop it up. Okay, moving into sideboards. Let's have a look. Definitely want the Dismembers in. I'm probably considering Flutes as well as Hearses. Let's see. What are they planning to do here? First, the Wastegate Battle Mages go out. Dismembers come in. We have 1 card more. The Hearse will be for the Barragoyf. The Disruptor Flute is for Tamio. Let's think this through. Actually, okay, trimming 1 Devourer. That means we get to bring both in. But singletons are a bit on the weaker side. The Chalices will be a bit weaker on the draw. That does allow us to do this. Is this good enough? I think this is good enough. Yeah, let's give this a go. Opening hand, honestly, can't complain. So turn 1 Chalice with this backup. Let's see, it's a turn 1 Chalice with this backup. But we don't really have material beyond Kozilek's Command. Dicey, I think we are forced to mulligan. Okay, Dividends. We have plenty of action here, we'll keep. Here we can bottom the Secluded Courtyard and say go. A Delta from the opponent into a fetch. To Underground Sea and a Nethergoyf. So here the Hearse is gonna pull quite a fair bit of duty. Eldrazi Temple. Okay. We'll start with the Ancient Tomb. Here we have a curious question of whether we want to play around these for the Hearse. I think that's worth doing. We can park out our Grim Monolith for now. Fully expect this to resolve. And they daze us already, sure. It's fine. Pass the turn. They answer with their own Wasteland. Alright. So now we're really digging down deep. Goyf takes their chunk of 2. We'll be down to 16. Thought Not Seer as the draw. Isn't particularly exciting. I'll play out the Wasteland as a start. Play out the Underground Sea into a Ponder. That's fine. Take out 3 now because of the sorcery. Pass the turn. Found an Eye of Ugin. Wrong soul land, unfortunately. So here, we will have to run our Unlicensed Hearse into a daze if that's something on the cards. Let's see. And it resolves, thankfully. So here, we can keep damage control on the Goyf, so that's nice. Delta from the opponent. Then the Goyf swings in. We will eat their daze and ponder. Shrinking to 1. They fetch with a polluted Delta. Finding another Underground Sea, as well as the Doughty Voidwalker. We have that relatively kept in check for now. Here we'll play our Eye of Ugin and cast our Thought Not Seer. Let's have a peek. And we see a Snuff Out. Okay, sure. That's fine. They'll draw the card first and then we'll exile. So here we see a Harbinger as well as 2 more copies of Voidwalker. Interesting. That means I will take the Harbinger and I will instead cast my Lotus Petal and flute. This way we can flute out the Doughty Voidwalkers. They're all stuck in hand and we are good to go. Unfortunately, we didn't crew our Hearse in response to the Snuff Out, so we can't swing in. But I think that's fine. I'm happy to still just keep their Goyf in check for now. And the City Sewers, keep it on top. Try to cast their Voidwalker. It's unsuccessful. Yeah, we will just continue to have a feast with the Hearse. Still is 4 damage from the existing Voidwalker, which is a pain. But we'll be fine. Courtyard is not the best draw, but we'll deploy it nonetheless. Here, I think we can afford to wait. So let's just give that a go. I'm definitely interested in dismembering the Voidwalker. A swamp, only the Voidwalker goes. Here, I'm going to actually cast the Dismember first. Let's see. If I cast the Dismember, I'll be down to 4. No, I can wait. Yeah. Just take the 3 for now. I have plenty of options. On their end step, I'll continue to shrink their Nethergoyf. Oh, we're flooding out. That's not good. Here, I will Wasteland the opponent. I'm very aware that this makes their Goyf back up to 1. But we really aren't in the business of playing out of... We really want to make sure the Voidwalkers don't come out. Play out a Courtyard and pass the turn. Thankfully, they have no real means of direct damage. A Brazen Borrower is direct damage though. Let's see. That's 3, 6, 6. Nope. Fortunately, that is a little too much for us to handle. I believe we are dead on board, but we'll see. 6. Yep, that's GG's, unfortunately. Okay, back to the board. Let's see. I do want my chalices, at least 1 more chalice in. Think we can afford to go down on a copy of... Let's see, what do we want to trim on? I think we can trim on the Ugin. Is that correct? Ugin seems to be quite a hard card to cast. So let's do it like this. On the play, we have a strange looking 7 Romal. This is again a lot of action, I guess. I'm really reluctant to go beyond 6. So I'll keep first. Bottom a redundant Wasteland. I will just play out the Tomb into a Monolith. That's just our best answer against Harbinger. It resolves, we'll pass the turn. On their end, they play an Underground Sea into a Thoughtseize. In response, I'm going to cast my Kozilek's Command, Scry and make a friend, choosing both modes on myself. Not the most ideal, but we'll take what we can get. They daze us, that's fine. They see that we have no real material, which is unfortunate, and pass the turn. Draw Courtyard. I will play out the Wasteland for now. This is quite the slog. Over on their turn, a Delta. So that's hits up against us. And pass the turn. Any creature would be good, but no, we do not get any creatures. We could just go for slightly cheesier Wasteland strategy. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we can just deploy out another Wasteland. Keep them honest for now. On their end step, we can just untap our Monolith. They fetch with the Delta. I assume it's a basic, which is a Swamp. And another Thoughtseize. Unfortunately for you, my friend, I have nothing. As well as a Wasteland of their own. That's fine. At their end step, let's untap our Monolith. This maximizes our chances of getting the most out. Oh, a Cavern. That's a waste. We will play out our Courtyard. In the eventual turn that we get some sort of mana out, pass the turn, some sort of material to play, I mean. Okay, they have 6 in hand. It's a scary amount. This is a very, very strange game, I have to say. An Underground Sea for once, to a Ponder. Okay, on this blessed day, we are all digging for answers. They shuffle and draw, find a Nethergoyf. It's going to be a headache. On their end step, I'm going to delete their Underground Sea. A Fleshraker. It's not exactly what I'm looking for, but it is something. So, not gonna say no. Play out the Temple for now. Cast me a Fleshraker. eventually this will be worth something. Pass the turn. We will take the tree from the Nethergoyf, and they pass the turn as well. Here we have plenty of things to do. We have Cavern of Souls on Eldrazi. Cast the Devourer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. 5, 6, 7. We will delete the Nethergoyf. Make a friend. And ping for 1. Attackers will swing in for 2. This should close out the game relatively quickly. And pass the turn. And they scoop it up. In round 4, we are on the draw against Carlo MV on a Yorion strategy, no less. Let's see, we have a pretty mediocre start. I think too interesting, but we can use the Devourer to hopefully get us a soul land. But does that do anything useful? Let's see. No, I think this is a Maul. This is a much more explosive hand. We'll keep. And bottom a spare copy of Devourer. We will reveal our Devourer. They play Plains into a Ether Vial, so old school D&T gamers. We get our Devourer. Here we'll grab the Cavern for the draw. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'll grab the Cavern for the draw. For our main phase, let's start things off with an Ugin and pass the turn. Plains from them into pass the turn. Wow, curious. We draw another Thought-Knot Seer, so that's going to be a lot of material. Eldrazi Temple and cast one of the Seers. Fully expect this to resolve. Let's have a look. Swords to Plowshares on the stack. That's fine. Redraw the card and then we will have a look. Let's see. We see a really interesting brew. We have Ether Spark in the hand. 2 copies of Recruiter. Unyielding Gatekeeper is a new one. Disguise. And this creature's turn face up. So this is a sort of an answer. I do notice that they don't have any mana left, so I am pretty incentivized to just take the swords. Let's take that and pass the turn. Next turn's going to be fun, that's for sure. We take up their Vial to 2. Let's see, do they get the land they need? They do not. Okay, it's great for us. We find ourselves a Lotus Petal. So let's play out the Cavern, naming Eldrazi, as well as the Petal. Start with the Thought-Knot Seer. I assume the Gatekeeper is coming out from the Vial. Yep, they activate the Vial in response. Should see the Gatekeeper pop up. Oh, it's a Stoneforge. Alright, okay. So that's their draw for turn. Whatever they find, if it's too much of an issue, we can always just take it out. So here, we can actually just Kozilek's command the Stoneforge. If that's too much of an issue. They find pre-war Formalware, which I am fairly interested in removing. The Ether Spark. Let's see. This spark doesn't seem particularly much of a headache just yet. So we can take the pre-war. Kozilek's command exiles the Stoneforge. Yes. Exiles the Stoneforge. And or alternatively we can still go for the Linebreaker first and then have the Kozilek's command come out. Let's see. Take the pre-war first. Curious. I think here I do want to just use the Kozilek's command. We'll exile as well as scry. Oh, that's strange. Okay, we'll cast the Linebreaker instead. Not particularly sure why I can't Kozilek's command for 2. We'll get to swing in for a nice hefty chunk. Swing in. Ah, I understand. My Kozilek's command couldn't be cast, so I was missing the 2 colorless pips. Understand. They'll uptake their Vial, play their Wasteland, and activate. This will get them their Recruiter. Finding a Solitude. Okay. Should see it deploy out relatively quickly. Yep. And they pitch a Unyielding Gatekeeper. So that answers our Thought-Knot here. They get to draw a card. I doubt they're swinging in. Yep. Pass the turn. A Wastecape Battle Mage. Does handily answer their Ether Vial actually, which isn't too bad. Yeah, let's do that. Nice, neat little mana denial strategy. Move into combat. We'll give the Battle Mage the buff. And we can swing or attack with everything. See where that ends up. Take the damage and I'll pass the turn. On our end step, they have Ophelia. So that's going to be a little bit of a headache. Definitely going to need mana off the top to answer the Ophelia. They're bringing in the Ether Spark and attaching the Ether Spark to Ophelia. That's fine. Ophelia attacks. Assume they'll flicker the Recruiter, which they do. We'll just take the damage. So now the Ether Spark's getting really huge. So we will need multiple ways to answer a variety of things. Recruiter finds, fully expect it to be a Solitude, which it is. A Lotus Petal does do the job. So let's play out the Lotus Petal. We will scry. Here we can actually make friends, because there's a buff on the Linebreaker. So here, move into, let's see, here let's just cast and exile the failure. I assume the Linebreaker is gonna go in response from the Solitude, but I doubt that's ever going to not be the case, which is exactly what happens. We target the Linebreaker, we get rid of failure. So here, let's go into combat, and unfortunately we do have to keep the Ether Spark in check. There's no blocks, and we'll pass the turn. So here actually off the top, Soul Land gets us the Devourer. That's always something to look forward to. They hit Plains, and they'll cast Omizawa's GT, that's fine. Thankfully they can't equip the GT just yet. Curious to see whether they are interested in drawing cards. I see they're not. Turn Soul Land off the top. Well, that counts, I guess. 1, 2, so that's 3, 4, 5, 6. Ah, we're one shot. Done. Alright, it's a bit of a pity. Let's cast out the Monolith and head into combat. Here, do have profitable attacks. We'll just pass the turn. The Ether Spark drawing 2 cards is pretty scary, not gonna lie. But thankfully, we can always block whatever is holding the GT with a spawn. Yep, that's what we see. They will attack and we will block. Block with just 1 and sacrifice. This way, the GT gets no counters and we are nice and tucked in. Thankfully, they've played out their flagstones, so we are safe from the wasteland this turn, which means that we get our Devourer, which means we can gun down the Ether Spark as well. Cavern is a great draw. Let's get this party started. It's 1, 2, 3, and 3 more here. We will exile the Stoneforge, and then now we will swing in. We can just get rid of the Ether Spark, make sure that it's no longer an issue. Yeah, I'm not too worried about the GT. So yeah, all in all, a pretty good turn, I'd say. Having a spawn left over means that we still fade the GT for now. Philia is fine. Have plenty of dogs over there, that's for sure. Seem to be casting a spell. They equip the GT to their Philia, as well as a White Orchid Phantom. Okay, that's fine. They'll delete our Eldrazi Temple. We will find our wastes. They'll swing in. They flicker our Devour of Destiny, that's pretty okay. Here we will just block with the spawn and do the same trick. A Wastegate Battle Mage off the top is perfect. It answers the GTA nicely. So let's see, we can do only 1 mode. So let's get rid of that pesky little GT. Move into combat. Swing with the Devourer. They block with Recruiter. And we'll let that go. Oh, they cast Parting Gush, which exiles a creature. Sure. Turns into a fish, as well as a Cloud Maker Mercenary. Alright, can't do much about that. They search out pre-war formalware, so there's gonna be a headache. Philia attacks, flickering the White Orchid. I will block. White Orchid comes in, hits the Cavern. It's fine. We will find out. We'll find our last copy of Wastes. Our Wasteland is unfortunately not it. We have no profitable attacks, so we'll pass for now. Pre-war formalware brings back the Solitude. This means everything's going down the shitter. Bring back Philia, which is an absolute nightmare. Pass the turn. Here we really need to not draw a land. Let's see. Is there anything else that we can do here? No, I think we can scoop it up. Unfortunate. There was quite a lot of hate from them. Our Flutes and Dismembers come in. Don't really need Chalice. They have a variety of cards for us. Don't actually mind another copy of Ugin, but not sure where we can fit that in. I think we can trim a copy of Devourer as well. Surprisingly, Wastegate has been an MVP in this game, so I'm a bit reluctant. I think we have to trim down on Ugin in the event that we get our mana denied under us. Is that correct? Let's see. We could do this. 2 Flutes and 3 Dismembers. Yeah, let's do it like this. We're on the die roll. We're on the play. Both of us are pretty low on time. We have a no-lander, there's a Maul. We have lands and some semblance of spells we'll keep. We will bottom the Eldrazi temple for now. Here, let's see. Yep, here let's go for an Ancient Tomb into a Petal, into a Fleshraker, into the Petal. Now we can set up shop. I'm very incentivized to flute Philia, to flute Ether Vial, flute some sort of Source to Plowshares on Fleshraker. Let's bring in the flutes. Here, I think Philia is gonna be our biggest headache, so let's get rid of that. The Wasteland comes out. We're fine not deploying the Wastecape Battle Mage just yet. Their turn, play their own Wasteland. Hitting ours, that's fine. And they find the Ether Vial. Okay, Secluded Courtyard gets us the color we want, as well as the green we need. We'll handily nuke their Vial and say go. Play Plains, the White Orchid Phantom. Assume that's going to go for a Courtyard, which it does. We'll find our wastes and pass the turn. Kozilek's Command, it's not enough just yet, so we're forced to pass. But any sort of soul land gets us out of the Phantom's range, so that's good. 3 mana from the opponent. They cast a Recruiter, that's fine. Assume it's a Stoneforge? Yep, there's a Stoneforge. They do not attack. Okay, that's good. We have a Fleshraker that we can't cast. So for now, we'll just pass the turn. Stoneforge comes out. Is this when we see the Cauldron? Okay. Cauldron is fine. Ironically, that turns on our Kozilek's Command, which now we have multiples of. And we still can't really attack, so we'll just have to pass. Unfortunate. Here we'll see the Cauldron pop up. Yep. And very nicely, we have an answer. Soul Guide Lantern is fine. Snipe a Petal. Going to combat. To swing with Cauldron as well as the White Orchid. We're fine with that. We don't have blockers. We will instead scry and exile. Scry and exile with 2 colorless. We get the Courtyard, which is mana that we need. We'll take 2 from the White Orchid. Devour's a not anytime soon situation. Let's get our Fleshraker going for now. Sucks that we can't double spell, but I will still try to push in for damage where I can. Take the R2. So Fleshraker is going to be the way that we conceivably claw our way out. Thankfully, the White Orchid does not set us back in terms of net mana, although obviously losing a colored source is a headache. Seems to be a Val is fine still. We can still make things work. We'll take the 2. Some sort of mana off the top, please. Cavern is great. Let's play out the Cavern. Eldrazi. We have Kozilek's Command for X equals 2. That gets rid of a Phantom. And we can set up our mana for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. And then the Devourer can come out next turn. So we can actually just hang back for now. Not particularly interested in getting our boys out to die. They uptake their Vial. Go into combat. A Field of Ruin. Oh yikes. It's gonna be a headache. Okay. Here let's float our mana. So we are going to be set back on our mana. We have no lands to search for. Here let's just cast our good friend Kozilek's Command. We'll exile as well as make some friends. Exile White Orchid. Get to do some burn damage on the way in. They are casting Parting Gust, which flickers their White Orchid. Bit of a pity, but at the very least we get to deal some amount of damage. Whether that's enough will be something we'll have to see later on. White Orchid takes its 2 points. Parting Gust returns them their White Orchid, which deletes our land. No, we do not. A soul land is not that. We'll just have to Thought Knot Seer. Thankfully, we get a rebate on our Thought Knot Seer, so all is not lost. Let's see, Lion Sash or Cloud. They can cast Orval in either, so let's just take the Lion Sash. Fortunately, can't move into combat. The White Orchid is a little bit too big for us to handle. It's a pretty back and forth game. I assume the Cloud is coming out. Soul Guide Lantern draws a card, that's fair. They activate their Vial. Sends out the Cloud. Get to search for equipment. I assume it's pre-war formal wear. Might even be the Ether Spark. I don't know. It's actually likely to be the Ether Spark, since the Stoneforge can tutor it out. A GTA would be pretty devastating. Yep, a GTA is what they find. They equip it to a Phantom. And and this is going to be a lot of pain for us. Goodbye, Fleshraker. You'll be dearly missed. Here we want a Wasteland's not it. It's 5 mana. I will swing in with the Thought Knot. Although them having a reliable source of life gain is not good for us, that's for sure. Pass the turn. Let's see how things can develop. They hard cast a Timeless Dragon, so that checks the biggest creature on the board. Swinging with the flyers, we are pretty dead if you ask me. Don't really see a way out here. Eldrazi Temple, they snipe our spawn on our draw step. Okay. Yeah, here we don't have anything worth doing. Yep, GG's. Now into round 5, fighting for our last 50 play points. On the play against Rancor, we see pretty promising hand. We'll keep. We'll play out the Eye of Ugin first and pass the turn. Opponent seems to be deep in the tank. Let's see what's going on. Play Verdant Catacombs, fetching a Bayou into an Ignoble Hierarch. So some sort of Cradle Control strategy perhaps? We'll see. Okay, we draw Ancient Tomb, we'll play our Eldrazi Temple, and cast a Fleshraker. I cast out a Lotus Petal, triggering our Fleshraker, and our Linebreaker comes out. We get plenty of damage on the board. Let's move to combat. We'll target the Linebreaker, swinging for a nice hefty 7. Pretty good turn 2 if you ask me, and we'll pass the turn. The opponent casts another Ignoble Hierarch as well as a Cradle. Sylvan Safekeeper comes out. So it's a white of the Reliquary. All of that is fine and dandy. Grim Monolith is fine. We'll play a Courtyard, name Eldrazi, our Monolith, get some damage out. The opponent's already at 8 on our 3rd turn, so that's pretty crazy if you ask me. We'll go to combat. Let's see, our Linebreaker already has Trample, so let's just continue to pile on the damage. Here I will swing with the Linebreaker as well as the Fleshraker. Let's see if they block. Nope, yep, it's lethal. Here, Grafdigger's Cage can be pretty useful. Let's see, Chalice pretty mid here. Bring in these. So let's dismembers. Is there anything else that we'd like to bring in? Perhaps the hearse. On the draw we can trim on a Devour. Wastecape Battle may just look a bit sus here. So here we can either go for the flute or the hearse. I think we can go for the hearses. Trim out some more, bring in the Ugin. Bring back a Devourer. Let's see, do we want the hearse? Let's take out the hearse, let's bring in the flutes instead. This looks pretty solid. And we're good to go. On the draw, we have a pretty good set of interaction. We'll keep. Start with a Bayou into an Ignoble Hierarch. We will open up with a Courtyard, Eldrazi into a Grafdigger's Cage. Let's hang tight for now. On their turn they play another Ignoble Hierarch. So it's a Gaze Cradle into a Christ. Alright, so the flutes are pretty useful now. Some sort of creature payoff perhaps? A Fleshraker is a payoff, that's for sure. Let's go for that. Cast the Fleshraker, so as a Lotus Petal. Get our triggers here. Fortunately we can't deploy out the Wasteland. Oh, we might have missequenced that. Might want to have hit the Grist first. Actually, let's see. Probably sacrifice the Flesh. Sacrifice that bug. Okay, so on our turn, I think what we should do is on the stack of the ability get rid of the insect so they are forced to use their ignobles. Scythecat Cup comes out and they choose to mill with Gris. Okay, it's fine and dandy by me. Not a natural order. They swing in. A very big insect. Here we'll just block. We will sacrifice our token and dismember the Scythecat Cup. They bring in Talon Gates to protect the Scythecat Cup. So here we are in a slightly more dicey situation. Kozilek's come out and be a great draw now. Unfortunately we just get Caverns. So let's push out the Wasteland and get rid of the Gaze Cradle. It's not the most optimal, but we do need to stymie their mana development somehow. Fortunately, we have no good attacks. Cast once upon a time, revealing a white of the Reliquary. So there's gonna be another headache for us. I think things are pretty dicey. Probably play like 2 more turns before we scoop it up. Yeah, I'm fully convinced that at this point we are spiraling completely out of control. Their land makes the Scythecat Cup a 4/4, which then makes it a 5/5. Absolutely huge. Oh, it's a 6/6 because of the second time. And then they're gonna sacrifice an insect to get rid of our Fleshraker, which means that we are due for 8 points. Yep, that is a world of pain for us. Not particularly sure how we can squeeze our way out of this. Thought Knots here buys us some amount of time. Just name Eldrazi and cast our spell. We'll take away their copy of Natural Order, which is crazy. Then we'll pass the turn for now. As far as the opponent's concerned, a minus on the Gris with a swing means they are safe. 7. Okay. Strangely, that didn't happen. They're going this route. Alright. They phase out our Thought Knot with a Talon Gates, and then that's GG's. Alright. Let's see. Grafdigger's Cage definitely answers the Natural Order. Dismember is necessary. Flutes are a bit on the slightly more sus side. I think here we can go for Chalices instead of Flutes. This does allow us to be able to high roll into denying their rocks. Probably trim a copy of Thought Knot as well as the copy of Devourer to fit in the last 2 copies of Chalice, and let's give that a go. On the play, final game. Let's see, we have a Devourer to try to get us dividends. On the play, we have a turn 2 Fleshraker. Let's keep Fleshraker and Linebreaker are the absolute nuts in this deck. So with any luck, we can get that. Absolutely terrifying art, by the way. Play out the Devourer's ability on our upkeep. Let's have a look. A Chalice is great, actually. Yeah. We will unfortunately only draw it the next turn, so let's just play things out. I will be looking to dismember anything that comes out on this turn. The opponent plays a Misty, fetches for a Forest into an Ignoble Hierarch, and that is going to see a Swift, and here let's go for our Eldrazi. We'll cast the Fleshraker as well as the Petal. I'm wondering what the opponent is thinking about on their end. Seem to be taking a while. And then we'll follow it up with a Chalice on 1, and we get back our friend. It's a pretty good turn if you ask me. Play out a Dryad Arbor, which is fine. But Grafdigger's Cage as a follow-up is pretty damn good. So let's see. We must use the spawn, so let's do that. Ah, damn. I forgot about the Chalice. So it does get countered, but it's fine. We can consider that as an extra 1 damage for the opponent. And we'll cast the Linebreaker, get another friend, do another point of damage. Okay, we'll head into combat. We'll make the Linebreaker angry. Swing in with both the Fleshraker and the Linebreaker. That's 9 damage. Incoming. I will assume they are blocking the Fleshraker. They do not, which is strange. I'm wondering what they can get out from their side. Doesn't seem to be likely that a Natural Order is coming out though. Okay, they find a Lair of the Hydra into play, but they scoop it up. Alright, we got a 2/3. I do think that I misplayed a couple of times. It's pretty interesting, although I do think that there are certain draws that really end up not paying out. Eldrazi Linebreaker and Fleshraker are definitely a great combo together. So, promising, I think. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more content.